2 slates are officially on the ballot for student government. Tonight we talk to them and others about the upcoming race.
We are finally getting results from yesterday's Iowa caucus. Tonight at 9, we have the latest.
Tracking that precipitation changeover from rain to a wintry mix tonight.
From the heart of Ball State University, live from the Unified Media Newsroom, NewsLink Indiana starts right now.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being with us. I'm Tucker White.
And I'm Jada Kiefer.
Tonight, SGA slates are now heading out and campaigning following today's nomination convention.
And we now know who those slates are. NewsLink Indiana's Peyton Green was there. She joins us live now in the newsroom. Peyton, what are those candidates saying?
Well, Jan Tucker, the slates told me tonight they are excited to finally get out and campaign, and as SGA election season is officially underway, we now know who will be on the ballot. At the SGA nomination convention Tuesday night, 2 slates were officially put on the ballot. Orem will face off against Bold in this year's election, and both SGA presidential candidates spoke with NewsLink Indiana Tuesday night. Miriam Bell, the presidential candidate for Orem, says she feels her slate's experience will set them apart.
We're definitely aiming for being the most experienced out here. We actually know what we're doing. We're the most competent.
On the other side, Bold presidential candidate Connor Sanborn says he's wanting to build a connection with all students.
Other slates come in and they say, well, we want to, visit these other organizations and we want to promote them on social media. And it never really happens. Our thing is we want to build deep connections with organizations like Greek Life, athletics, and the LGBTQ plus population on campus and other minority groups.
And while campaigning is beginning, both Bevell and Sanborn hope student turnout will be bigger than years past.
I really think we need to better advertise ourselves, and that's something that we're trying to go for.
There's good things that they do that don't just affect people on the student level, but also on the administration level.
You heard there from 2 of the slates, Bold and Orem, but there could be a third slate, Alliance. They are planning on running, but the election board says Alliance is still completing the verification process. The slates will be taking part in their first debate Thursday night at 4. NewsLink Indiana will be there to bring you coverage from the debate. For now, live in the newsroom, Peyton Green, NewsLink Indiana.
All right, Peyton, thank you. The Elections Board released a statement. You can read it online at ballstatedaily.com.
Now, nearly 24 hours after Iowans voted for their candidates, results are finally rolling in. This afternoon, Iowa Democratic Party released partial results after identifying inconsistencies from a voting app.
62% of the precincts from all 99 counties have reported, according to the Democratic state chair. Yet, as Emily Schmidt reports, the delay leaves presidential field of candidates up for debate.
As chair of the party, I apologize deeply for this.
The Democratic Party chair in Iowa taking the heat for Monday's chaotic Iowa caucuses, which left voters and campaigns without any results for nearly 24 hours.
We will have the results out as soon as we can.
Tuesday afternoon, the first numbers finally made public, 62% of the results, but no promises about when all 100% will be released.
We're going to have a thorough and independent review of exactly what happened last night. Right now, we're in the process of making sure that we get these results out.
The first release showed Pete Buttigieg leading the group, followed closely by Bernie Sanders. Elizabeth Warren rounded out the top 3. But the campaigns say they want the full picture with all the numbers.
I just don't understand what that means, to release half of the data. So I think they ought to get it together and release all of the data.
The party says there were inconsistencies as a new app was reporting out partial information. Though the party says it was not a cybersecurity problem, it's now a political problem.
There are just some gross failures in the process last night.
President Trump tweeted he blames Democrats for what he calls a voting disaster in Iowa. But in a caucus system known for being up close and a little quirky, like a coin toss deciding delegate ties.
Tails. There you go. You get the delegate.
Campaigns are not happy leaving Iowa with so much still up for grabs. In Washington, I'm Emily Schmidt.
At this point in the reporting, Pete Buttigieg holds a slight lead over Bernie Sanders.
President Trump is about to start his State of the Union address. You were looking at video of last year's address. He is heading to Capitol Hill under historic circumstances. No impeached American president has ever run for re-election, and tomorrow afternoon, the Senate will cast their votes on the charges of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress presented by the White House. Republican senators hope he'll stay away from the impeachment process in tonight's speech and instead talk up his administration's accomplishments and why he is deserving of another term. The White House says the president's speech will look at what he has achieved so far.
He's going to be talking to the American people about all the things that this administration has accomplished while Democrats have been focused on a very petty partisan impeachment.
The Democratic response to tonight's speech will be delivered by Governor Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan. Michigan is a state Democrats want to win back in the upcoming 2020 election.
Ball State has suspended work-related travel to China for all university employees. The suspension comes after the State Department issued a Level 4 do not travel advisory. In a statement made last week, university officials said their goal is to keep the Ball State community, including its employees and students, safe. The suspension will remain in place until the State Department lifts its advisory. Ball State does not currently have any students or employees in China.
The sun is gone already and rain has moved in. After some unseasonably warm days, Muncie saw rain showers all day today.
And the weather isn't going to stop changing anytime soon. Natalie, what more can you tell us?
Yeah, we've had some really rainy conditions today. It's a lot colder than it was this time yesterday, but tonight we're going to track that rain transitioning into a wintry mix. Talking about our current temperatures right now, we can see we're at 35 degrees in Muncie, 34 in Indianapolis, and 37 in Bloomington right now. So overall, we're pretty cool right now in our viewing area. Looking at our forecast for the rest of the night, we can see by 11 p.m. tonight, temperatures are going to reach 33 degrees. And we're going to see that transition from that rain to that wintry mix and possibly ice and snow. And by 1 a.m., we're going to reach 31 degrees with that mixed precipitation continuing.
A new coffee spot is open on campus when and where you can grab a hot cup of joe after the break.
And while it's cooling down, you can look ahead to spring thanks to Minnetrista. Details on the gardening opportunities next.
Riding the bus is an easy thing to do. Last year, we carried 60,000 riders from the Ball State area. 50,000 of those were students. Anywhere you want to go, MITS will take you there.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that! That's disgusting! Oh, poop already! You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
In the Indiana Senate, Republican lawmakers voted 34-15 to cut out a proposal that would require Indiana businesses to provide accommodations for pregnant women. The bill would have allowed pregnant women to take longer breaks, transfer to less physical work, and take unpaid time off after childbirth. The legislation will now be turned into a committee to study accommodations for pregnancy and childbirth. While the proposal faces opposition from some groups, Governor Eric Holcomb supported the requirement as a way of improving the state's infant mortality rate.
Punxsutawney Phil says we'll get an early spring. This means gardening season is around the corner. Minnetrista offers educational opportunities for those who want to get a head start. Kayla Jackson has the story.
Seeds. Such small little things, But it's these small seeds here that brought Muncie community members out to Minnetrista on National Seed Swap Day. Kelly Daniels went for one main reason.
Well, here they're free, and at the store they're pretty pricey. And here you get a variety of seed options from other people, from all over. It's not just what was sent by a manufacturer.
James Edwards, Minnetrista's horticulture manager and coordinator of the event, says that growing food helps people live sustainably and give them the ability to provide for themselves.
Here in Muncie, we've had issues with food security, and so we want to be able to provide the incentive to grow their own food and keep that as local as possible.
Edwards hopes to teach the community how to properly garden and care for plants. He wants everyone to feel the same sense of achievement as he did when he grew his first tomato plant.
Once you grow your first tomato, then the second thing you do is you grow too many tomatoes, and then it goes from there, and then finally find your favorite tomato, and you'll never not grow that tomato.
To those who want to start in their gardening endeavors and possibly try growing their own tomato plant, you can attend the next Seed Swap Day at Mering Hunt Library on Saturday, February 15th from 1 to 3 in the afternoon. In Muncie, Kayla Jackson, NewsLink, Indiana.
For more information about the next Seed Swap Day, you can call this number, 765-747-8217.
Indiana House members voted 52-41 in favor of a bill that will make it more difficult for Indiana electric companies to close coal-fired power plants. The bill requires additional state reviews on utility companies before shutting down the plants within the next year. Only 2 Democrats voted with Republicans in support of the bill. The bill still faces objections from consumer and environmental groups who argue it could suppress growth in renewable energy. The legislation is now on its way to the Indiana Senate.
Ball State's Allegre Cafe is bringing coffee to their menu. Coffee as well as espresso will be served Monday through Thursday from 9 in the morning until noon. Allegre offers many different flavor shots to add to any drink for no extra price. The on-campus cafe will also start serving classic hot drinks such as hot cocoa.
Well, that sure couldn't come at any better time, especially since it's still cold.
Yeah.
Now, Natalie, what can we be expecting in the weather?
Well, I sure wish I had a cup of that coffee right now, because tonight the temperatures are going to continue to fall, and by 5 a.m. in the morning, the temperatures are going to reach 32 degrees and possibly even fall later on to 29 degrees. Talk about more about that in my full weather story.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Or maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all. If I could go back, I would. But I can't.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
One in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. That means it could be you, your favorite brother, your other brother,
Yes.
you, your football buddy, your football buddy, you, your plumber,
Breathe right into your foot.
your plumber's masseuse,
Yes.
you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. With early diagnosis, pre-diabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
We showed you video of the rain earlier from today.
Soon that could turn to snow. Natalie, what does it look like now?
We are going to see that transition from that rain to snow tonight. But currently right now, we are going to be sitting in the 30s right now, currently at 35 degrees with a break in that precipitation with mostly cloudy conditions. But those clouds and this rain from the northeast that we have right now does make for some pretty cool conditions. Looking at our temperature change over the past 24 hours, we can see we have gone down a lot. We have gone down a total of 28 degrees in Indianapolis, 26 degrees in Muncie, and a whole 23 degrees in Bloomington. So we can see overall we've about made a 30-degree change since this time yesterday. Looking at that radar right now, we can see that rain is moving through our area and is starting to transition from that rain precipitation into that wintry mix, ice and snow as well. If we talk about our over the whole viewing area, we can see this low pressure coming in from the south, and that is what's causing our big weather story coming on as we can see this rain moving into our area. Looking at the forecast for tonight, we can see we're going to reach 29 degrees with that mixed precipitation and northeast winds at 10 to 15 miles per hour. That can cause some hazardous conditions for your commute in the morning, so be aware of that as you're heading out. Taking a look at our precision cast, we can see by 12 midnight tonight, we can see we'd have that mix of that rain and snow and possibly icy conditions. Moving on to tomorrow morning, we can see we're going to have a break in that precipitation with just some cloud cover. But if we reach on later to the day, by the time you're leaving work, we can see that snow up north, this icy mix down here, and below that in the southern region, we can see that rain conditions still staying in. But as we move on to Wednesday night, we can see it's mostly that snow and mix of icy conditions as well. Moving on through Thursday, we can see we're going to have some patchy icy conditions as well, so we need to be aware of that for the next few days. Be cautious on the roadways, and it is going to be pretty chilly as well. Looking at this graphic right now, we can see we're going to be at 1 to 2 inches of snow possible up north. But down south here, we can see we have a combination of snow and ice mix. So we need to be aware of that because that is going to affect our travel conditions. Taking a look at our forecast for tomorrow, we can see that we're going to have that wintry mix continuing with a high of 34 degrees with an east-northeast wind coming at 10 to 15 miles per hour. So our conditions are going to continue to be colder and more seasonable than they have been these past few days. Taking a look at our full 7-day forecast, we can see that we have that mixed precipitation continuing in through our weekend and into Friday. But this weekend, we can see we're going to have some pretty cloudy conditions. But come Monday, we're going to have another chance for that mixed precipitation possibly. And on Tuesday, a high of 45 degrees.
Thank you so much. A former Ball State football player is retiring again from teaching. His story next.
And we'll give you the latest on the men's basketball game against Kent State.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just like the rules to surviving Zombieland, there are steps you can take to be prepared for an emergency.
It's the right thing to do.
Talk with your family to make a plan. Look for safe areas to meet up if separated. And stock up on supplies. It's never too early to get prepared, so start now.
Right now? Right now.
You can't predict emergencies, but you can be ready.
You're welcome, America.
Visit ready.gov today to learn more.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Good evening and thanks for sticking with us. I'm Madison Surface with sports. A former Ball State football player has been staying in shape through his 80s with a little help from his bike. NewsLink Indiana's Blake Dollier rode along.
He's a former Ball State football player, turned Army veteran, turned Ball State German professor. There isn't much Ronald Warner hasn't done. This, he says, has kept him strong physically at age 84, which to him means less physical limitations.
I can do basically about anything I want to do, really. If I want to get up on the roof, I climb up the ladder and get on the roof. And if I want to ride my bicycle 30 miles, I get on my bike and ride for 30 miles.
But after injuries suffered during football, Warner left the game he loved, got his PhD in German at the University of Connecticut, and began teaching German, and eventually ended up at Ball State from 1966 to 2012.
I've loved being a teacher. I've been able to get up every morning and go to my job with a smile on my face.
But what has kept Warner able to do all these things? He claims it's many long-distance bike rides.
I used to get up on a Saturday morning and ride 100 miles, and then come back home, and I did that, pretty religiously, so to speak, for the last 45 years.
Warner retired for his fourth and possibly final time from Ball State after returning to teach German 301 this fall. In Muncie, Blake Dollier, NewsLink, Indiana.
Warner now spends time with family and friends as he enjoys his retirement. And tonight, the Ball State men's basketball team got the dub against Kent State. After a quick start for the Golden Flashes, Ball State took the lead and kept it within 2 possessions for most of the game, and coming to a final score of 62-54. Kyle Mallers led the Cardinals with 16 points off 4 for 8 shooting, while Philip Whittington dropped 18 off 70% from the field. This is Ball State's second win in a row after defeating Ohio 65-54 last Saturday. This pushes their record 13-9 on the year. And in high school basketball, girls sectional 24 began tonight at Yorktown with Newcastle and Winchester. Delta and Muncie Burris will then face off at 6 tomorrow. Overall, Delta is currently 4-16 and Burris is 5-15. Yorktown Tigers and Hamilton Heights will follow around 7:30. The Tigers are coming from a strong season, being 17-6 overall, ranked 3rd in the conference. The championship game will be played on Saturday, February 8th at 7:30. Admissions is $6 a session. The Ball State men's golf team made an exciting new addition to their fall roster today. The Cardinals picked up Sterling McElravy from Kirkwood Community College, which was ranked 2nd in Division II. McElravy was ranked 20th in Division II, as well as putting up an impressive 73-55 scoring average last season. Ball State adds McElravy to an already impressive class of Griffin Hare, Ali Khan, and Carson Orr. McElravy signed his paperwork for Ball State today and will join the golf team next fall. And I was looking more into Sterling and joining us in the fall, and head coach Mike Fleck had so many great things to say about him, not only as a player, but also as a student with a 4.0 and just a great leader. So it will be really exciting to see how the dynamics of that team change.
Yeah, that sounds like a very good addition to our golf team.
Yes, that's very much so, yeah.
Well, thank you, Madison.
Thank you.
Now, one school in Ohio is calling on a furry friend to help their students. I've got that story for you when we come back.
And students in Florida are paying tribute to veterans by raising money. What they are raising money for next after the break.
Hey, did you know 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Let's go to theshelterpetproject.org and meet if you are in a shelter near you. Harlow, oh, she's one great listener who loves to hear all your stories. My kind of cat. Cerulo is a sweet, goofy boy who's eager to please. Sounds just like another dog I know. So go to theshelterpetproject.org, search your local shelters and rescues, and go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
Problems. The ones nobody talks about at cocktail parties. We go looking for them. No matter the obstacles, no matter the odds. We surround a community's most critical problems and we fight. United Way fights for the health, education, and financial stability of every person in every community. Will you?
It doesn't take a scientist to cure hunger or a fancy economist to create safe housing. It takes imagination, creativity, sweat equity. When I think of kids going to school hungry, hunger, homelessness, in this land of plenty, seriously? Come on, we could fix this. Help out, or don't. The choice is yours.
Weeknights, NewsLink Indiana brings you the news before you go to bed.
But Friday mornings, you're waking up with Cardinal weather. We've got the latest news headlines.
Freezing temperatures have set in all the way down in Louisiana.
One man dead after flooding in Venice, Italy.
Up to the minute weather conditions.
Cold temperatures are the story this morning.
And of course, lots of fun.
Andy Keister, former cheerleader, up top right here.
I do have, I don't know if you can see it, a toucan this morning?
Toucan, the Fruit Loop guy.
Join us Friday mornings at 8 on Facebook Live.
It's time now for consumer news.
Sephora is surviving, so much so the makeup chain is expanding. The company announced it will open 100 new stores across 75 cities in North America this year, its largest single-year expansion ever. Sephora stores will primarily be in neighborhoods or strip centers and slightly smaller than mall counterparts. Once the expansion is complete, there will be 600 locations in North America.
The electronics company that has been making the BlackBerry, TCL Communications, says it will stop selling them in August. The company's partnership with BlackBerry has ended and it no longer has the rights to design, make, or sell the devices. BlackBerry stopped making their own smartphones in 2016 and outsourced production to TCL for a fixed period. It's unclear whether BlackBerry will partner with another company to continue selling the devices. TCL will continue supporting existing devices with customer and warranty service until 2022.
Walgreens has reached a settlement with California authorities for allegedly employing an unlicensed pharmacist for more than a decade. The pharmacy chain will pay $7.5 million to settle consumer protection lawsuit. Authorities say the pharmacist filled more than 745,000 prescriptions, including upwards of 100,000 for controlled substances. The pharmacist has not worked for Walgreens since 2017. The Alameda County District Attorney's Office says Walgreens didn't properly check her credentials after she was promoted to positions requiring a license. The company will also have to implement a verification program.
And now on to the story I promised you guys. An Ohio school has a new therapy puppy, and it's really cute. He's a 12-week-old sheepadoodle named Odin, but he's more than just an adorable face. The little guy has a really big job at La Bre's local schools. The school might someday expand the program and, of course, bring in more puppies.
And this story is very heartwarming. Some Florida teens are raising money for veterans. They're students at Suncoast High School in Riviera Beach, and they've collected almost $9,000 for Southeast Florida Honor Flight. The group flies survivors of World War II and Korean War, the Vietnam War, and any veteran with a terminal illness to Washington, D.C. to visit their memorial. Some of the students plan to join the veterans for this year's Honor Flight trip. Wow, that's something really special, and that is something that's really rare. You actually have experience in this.
I do, actually. While I was stationed out in the D.C. area, I got the honor of showing a couple of the veterans who are actually from southern Florida around their monuments. And a lot of these guys haven't actually had the chance to make it out there and see the monuments that are put up for them.
Wow, that's really special. But now for a final look at weather.
Now looking at our weather for this past week, we can see we do have that precipitation sticking around from today, moving into our Friday as well. Come Saturday and Sunday, however, we're going to have a break in that precipitation and start to see a rise in our temperatures as well. However, come Monday, we're going to have another chance of precipitation, but Tuesday conditions are looking great with a high of 45 degrees and partly cloudy conditions.
Well, that's all tonight for NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to join us again tomorrow night at 9, streaming live on the NewsLink Indiana Facebook page.
And for news anytime, anywhere, go to ballstatedaily.com. Have a great night.